What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to another episode of Marvel Future Fight. So let's jump right on in. Today I wanted to kind of review Omega Red since he did get his tier 3 upgrade, which was surprising. A week turnaround for a tier 2 to basically go to tier 3. So either A, you left it on the table in the main update and just pushed it to the mid-month as if though it was like, you know, day 1 DLC content, or you turned around and did it in a week. Either way, it doesn't really look good for where, you know, some characters previously stood, like Wenwu, Shuri, you know, to name M'Baku, to name a few, because many of these characters could have received their Transcendence or their tier 3s or their tier 4s in this case, at, you know, within time frame. Before we jump into Omega Red though, I do want to inform you that there's still today is the last day of the event quest, so you want to make sure that you jump on over to the event shop and want to make sure that you cash in on those rewards. There have been a time or two where I've most certainly forgot about it. Now you can, if I were you, I don't know that any of these the artifacts are, you know, must-haves, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, I don't think any of them are must-haves, if I'm being perfectly honest. Maybe the Odin one, if you're a fan, from me. Or you can go over here and get the Dimension Chest CTP. Understand that the CTP of Conquest is not in there. And then you have the Comet card. So if your card deck doesn't feature premium cards and isn't in here, to be perfectly honest, this is what you should be working on, because this is going to have the overall benefit for your account more than anything else in the game. Beside, you know, no, it's the biggest. You know, you can do the swords and you can do the shield archives, but that's going to have the biggest impact for you. So to that extent, there's a new item crafting event that is going to be going on. So let's take a look at this one real quick over here. So the item crafting event inside here, they're going to have an item crafting event pack that you can basically purchase, and it's going to be 300 crystals, 10 red leaves, and CTP of reforging for 1,000 gold and 9.99. I don't know how I feel about this, but we'll see overall what goes down with that anyway. So that's an item crafting event, so we know that there's something coming up. I think it's like a brilliant CTP or something like that is going to be it's going to be the CTP of Insight crafting event is what it's going to be. So it's not bad, but let's take a look at the entire September special events that are going down inside here. So they have the character growth event and celebration of September. We know who those are, right? And so you can see those right there. We get the September 7-day check-in event. These rewards really need to be reworked. These are not like special check-in events. We get the gold bonus missions inside of here. Those are never too bad if you're spending, you know, the gold to do those. You knew the character ranking event for Black Panther was coming, so if you're getting a tier 4, it's not really a big reason unless you are a whale player to run for the highest ranking, but I would just try to get them up there. Then we got the surprise vibranium chest. We all know how that's going to go down. Black antimatter and Nornstone chaos for everyone. You gotta get really lucky. We do have the comic card unequipped cost 50% discount that's going, and then here you are, the special item craft event, the CTP of Insight. Proceed to the event crafting using various items. I absolutely love when they host these crafting event items. I think they're really good. Yeah, I just think these events are really good. It gives players something to come back to the game on a daily basis for, to achieve a reward that's really good. So you can see inside here that there's a brilliant CTP that you can craft. There's a mighty CTP that you can craft, and then there's a CTP of Insight. Can be crafted only once though. Pay attention to that. One item can be only attained randomly at a fixed rate when opening the yellow-green chest leaf for these items. Now, traditionally, what that's looked like, so there's not a whole lot here left to look at on there, is the crafting event tab that's over here will host the event items inside this space, and you will play various game modes in order to collect these red leaves, red, yellow, and orange leaves, and then you'll combine them together. Now, normally I have not played this event and it not given the end item, or, you know, enough items for you to get to the end item. All you have to do is make sure that you show up on a daily and you'll get the item. So it's a good event overall to get a CTP of Insight, which is great because we have Shuri, and if a great many players have, you know, just collected Shuri inside the update and gotten her uniform, whether it was the Black Panther Wakanda Forever or the Marvel Studios Black Panther Wakanda Forever uniform. It is so stupid. then you're more than likely to expect that over there. So good events coming up. Don't forget, cash in on your event shop. Matter of fact, I'm going to do this right now so that way I don't forget, because sure as hell I would forget as I walk out the door this morning. So I'm gonna go with my comic card. The comic card mostly for me is because, oh, look at that, I got a Black Panther inside here, but I already have a 7-star Black Panther. So those are good for those. So now let's take a look at Omega Red, and let's talk about Omega Red real quick. One, Omega Red is a combat supervillain who is a mutant, just so you're aware. So these are essentially the characters that Omega Red is competing with for you to understand whether you need or should T4 him at sight, right? So essentially you've got Namor, who is pretty meta in terms of like characters. So he's at the very top and he's T4. So Omega Red is just simply not going to compete with him. So at current, the characters that you do have him competing with is Sabretooth, Apocalypse, and Juggernaut. So whether or not you feel like T3 and him is going to eclipse those, I think at the very least, the problem that you're going to run into with Omega Red inside this group is essentially you're comparing him against a very old Apocalypse, right? Apocalypse is due for an upgrade. He should receive a T4 at some point here, and then you should end up having a Sabretooth who's probably not going to get a T4 for some time to come, and then you've got Daken who could conceivably be receiving a tier 3, I think, because he hasn't received his Transcendence or tier 3 yet. Juggernaut has received his Transcendence. He could potentially receive a tier 4 at some point in the future. I just don't know that that's anytime coming soon. So that's who he's stacking up and he's comparing it. So if you already have Namor, might not be a reason for you to have a combat T4 mutant who's a supervillain, especially if you're expecting that, you know, Apocalypse may receive an update, which is one of the things that I'm surprised they just simply have not done with any kind of fervor. Like all of these characters from the World Boss Ultimate that were bosses like Thanos and Apocalypse and Strafe, these characters should have moved into the T4 atmosphere, and those world bosses should have been shepherded into World Boss Legend, especially as we start to get further down the road of the irrelevancy of a tier 3. Because let's face it, and let's be true, if you don't have Namor, and right now your bet is on whether or not you're gonna tier 4, tier 3 Omega Red, you're more than likely should be going for Namor. That's just the truth of the matter. You should be going to level up Namor, especially because they're both paywalled, crystal walled characters. You might as well go for Namor. That's just the truth. He's a T4. He's going to be better than, you know, than Omega Red on simple tier level alone. So you should probably be better off going. And then if you do have Namor, you're really trying to decide, are you going to compare him to these characters? Now you can open up the litmus test there for how more detailed you want to go by looking at all of the combat T4s that he has to compete with and the ones that are coming up in the future. So for instance, you're going to have Mr. Fantastic. You also then have to add in Kingpin, and not really Kingpin, but you have to add in Doc Ock to the mix. And then you've got some characters behind him, not really in terms of who's probably potentially getting tier 4. So these 3 are probably the characters that you're most likely comparing him to in terms of supervillain combat type classes. But really, he should be compared to the mutant type characters, and that's pretty much it. So let's take a look real quick at Omega Red. I don't know why it's doing that. It's pissing me off, though, I can tell you that much. So let's go back in here. Let's take a look at Omega Red. Pull him up this way. Now, I've equipped him with what I feel is reasonable to equip him with. I'm not really like a fan of leveling this character, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm gonna leave him at what his spec currently is, and I'm not gonna build him out. I'm going to leave him with the equipped gear that he has right now, and I just want to get him to tier 3. So in order to do so, we're going to have to normally enhance him. So make sure that you have your Phoenix feathers, and I'm starting to run a little low on here. So let's take a look at my gold count, really, 134. Now, I think what I'm going to do right now is I feel like Loki's coming down the pipe in terms of tier 4. He's way too popular, in my opinion, for them to just skip over him. I just really believe that. but I don't really feel like I have a necessity to tier 4 Loki, right? But I'm on the fence, and if I don't tier 4 Loki, what I would like to do is be able to just go directly into tier 4 Odin, because he is one of my favorite characters, and I don't see him making his way out of my rotation of characters that I play on a daily basis with game modes, World Boss Legend, giant boss raid type events. I don't see him making his way out of there. So I would reasonably say that he's probably going to stay inside that wheelhouse. Now, the one thing that I will give to Omega Red over leveling up Namor is that you end up paying almost double the cost for Namor, because you do have to level up his uniform, and that's going to cost you a bit. So not too bad, about 3 million gold to level up Omega Red. I tend to forget that they've decreased the cost for, free-to-play type characters inside of there. So yeah, I guess I tend to forget that. So we can now advance him. Combat type books is inside here for the Titans records, and we're going to drop down pretty low. Nice. At some point, I probably need to switch alliances because I'm in a really dead alliance. The Red Mafia. Are you part of the Red Mafia? Red King. Like, that's what that is right there. So let's take a look at his skills overall and preview them. So Omega Red, to me, the main problem that I have with Omega Red, truthfully, is that his skills just, nothing popped about them to me. It looks like very old. One skill is nice because it's got some iframes, grabs one target though, so you're probably not gonna, I mean, that's a world boss skill, and I don't believe that that's gonna work on any world boss legend type character. His 2 skill, you still get like what appears to be just a simple single target attack inside there. So really, you're just hitting these characters off on there. Matter of fact, let me pull up to see if I can't pull up the update details from his tier 2 kit, so that way I can look at the actual skills. Yeah, so on his initial skill, it's like energy drain, right? And it applies to one character. He gets a recovery of 15% HP. So actually, you're gonna have to rotate into that kit. Like, yeah, you're gonna have to rotate into that skill, unfortunately, because you're gonna want that 15% HP recovery inside there. But this is not gonna work on a world boss. There's no way that this attack can work on a world boss where it's gonna actually attack them and attach them. We'll have to see. And then we get the 2 skill, which has the paralysis and ignore immunity, so not really much on there. His 3rd skill, Omega Whip, like you can see, his skills look so old to me. But this is his accumulation on this skill. So he gets the accumulation of pure damage when attacking, 1%. So his 4th skill, Red Whirl, nice iframes on that skill and a lot more crowd clearing type effect inside there. Decreases all basic defenses and increases all basic physical attack as well, or basic attack, excuse me. His 5th skill, always forget to turn that off. His 5th skill has snare, incapacitation, and then a nice frenzy buff of 55, 1, and 30 to basic attacks and defenses, and crit rate in all speeds, right? So that's really nice. So when they gave him his tier 3, it wasn't that his tier 3 is like bad or anything at all, like, to be perfectly honest. It was just, why was it done a week later is my only big question for that, especially when we still got a tier 3 Shuri. I don't know. Now, my problem with a lot of Omega Red's attacks seems to be that they seem to be single target DPS type attacks, and I just don't know how well they're going to work inside World Boss Legend if they're going to really affect the target. Now, these paralysis say they affect immunity, but we'll have to see. So, simple attack rotation, 5-4-3, 5-4, and the good part about it, it's a very simple attack rotation. You don't have to do very much. In terms of cancellations, there's no trickery. 5-4-3-6 is when his tier 3 skills goes 5-4-3 and then 6, and let it play out. And I don't know, like, it's a weird thing because you see it's like at 94 hits on it, right? But I want to pay attention to just this simple rotation, right? Turn off the skill. Damn, I hate that. So like if we go back to his 1 skill inside here and you go 5, 4, and then 3. you're getting about the same amount of hits, 86 of them, to be honest, with just a simple 5-4-3 rotation. So the 6 skills, they have to be very impactful. And the funny part about it is, like, when you look at the 6 skill, it doesn't really look like much at all. Like, on its own, it's saying it's doing 46 hits. So 5, 4, 3, 86 plus 36 doesn't sound like that to me. But let's see, maybe I messed up. So we'll go 5, 4, and then 3, and then 6. Nah, it really doesn't look like I messed up. So he's barely getting. Look, you see the combo, you see the number of hits dealt. So it is what it is, right? I'm not gonna sit here and bitch about it, because I can tell you this is not a character that I am going to pop out of my rotation for any of the combat tier 4 characters that I use. It's just not happening, right? So let's go take a look at World Boss. Now, since they did the update, you can utilize him inside World Boss Legend. The problem is a lot of our world bosses are gonna be like, you're not gonna use. He's down against Mephisto. So let's see how he performs against Mephisto at the lower stages, because he's got the type of disadvantage in here anyways. I want to see how he performs inside there. You know, a good performance is a good performance. So let's take a look anyways. I hate when they ask me to change my character list out here. So we'll go combat type characters, and here he is. So remember, he does have his own leadership, so he applies speed to all allies, but then he increases his own physical attack as well. There are better leaderships than his that you have in the game. I believe he also has a good passive as well, if I remember correctly. No, just a passive to self. So there are better leaderships than his own 30% increase of physical attack that he gives. Yeah, there's just way better leaderships than that one, to be perfectly honest with you. So what I'll do is I'll just run him with a normal team that I would run inside of here. Let's just put him with, I like thematics. So what I'm looking for, oh, I put leader, excuse me. What I'm looking for is my girl. There she is, Mystique. And then since he's a mutant, wait, is Dreamer not in there? Oh yeah, I don't think I can use Dreamer. I thought I could use Dreamer there for a second. I was like, oh yeah, I can use Dreamer, and I forgot. Nope, can't use her. So we'll use, so like for instance, to be honest with you, her attack is better than his. And matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna go with that one instead. So that way I give him the best, since I don't exactly have any real CTP or something like that. I'll give him the best that I could give him. There's probably better runs that I could do for that. So again, very simple combination, 5-4-3, 5-4-3-6 to rotate through. Let's see how he performs and whether or not he survives. Damn, hit already. 5-4-3. And then we want to rotate into that 1 and 2 to get your 3 up. 5-4-3. Nice, he broke through pretty quick. Tier 3. That's a pretty good breakdown, because I can tell you right now that was better than Black Panther at tier 3. So now we can actually see the damage rotation inside there. It's not bad damage, to be honest with you. Really not, especially to have type disadvantage. Really not that bad. To be honest with you, Black Panther at level 70 tier 3 wasn't performing as well, and he had a CTP on. Now granted, I had a CTP of energy on him, right? But Omega's doing this with a CTP obelisk. Nice. It's not bad. And he's got really good tank support inside there, because he's definitely, and I haven't even rotated through my 6 skill yet. So we'll just add in a 6 skill there. This is, you know what? I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised. That's really goddamn good. A little over a minute against type disadvantage inside there. That's pretty good. Not gonna lie to you. Can't lie to you. I haven't played with him very much. I can't lie to you. That's pretty good for a tier 3 against Mephisto. That's good. Now I'm not gonna try him against Phoenix or Ultron, but what we'll do is we'll do him against Daddy Papa over here, Gore. I feel like he's the mid between. Like Infinity Ultron's annoying to me to play, and Dark Phoenix is another annoying one. Gore is a little annoying, but he's an easier playset to play against and to, you know, like run in there. If he does well against Gore, I might have to take back what I say. I still won't use him. Like, if I'm being honest with you, I still won't use him. He's not going to be a character I use. But my impressions will surely change. So let's go with our combat class characters over here. We'll do the same team up where we had him here with where is she at? Where is she? How do I lose these characters? Like they're like, sometimes they're just really hard navigating these. Okay, so then we'll go support. She's a speed type character, so maybe it's easier to find her by speed. Where's my girl? Ah, there she goes, Mystique. So let's see how he performs against Gore. To be perfectly honest, if it's a Gore win and you're a fan of Omega Red and he's able to complete a Gore World Boss Legend play, I mean, you're pretty good. I mean, I think Kang is probably the harder of all the bosses. Maybe just because of annoying, it's a little bit different what you need. You need like chain attacks to be happening to him. I don't know that Omega Red has enough hits for me to be like, hey, you know, use Omega Red. 5, 4, 3. Wow, he tanked Gore's initial attack there. Not a lot of damage though, so not impressive damage going on there. 5, 4, 3. Oh, there we go. We got like 2 bars inside there, so that wasn't too bad. 5, 4, 3. It's not bad, but you know. So we're gonna have to use his tier 3 in here as well. 5, 4, 3, and then 6. I don't know how much the tier 3 is really doing in here, if I'm being honest. 5, 4, 3. I hate when he gets to this stage. It just becomes annoying. And to be honest, I haven't had to play this stage in quite some time. 4, 3. And you see what I mean by the single area of attack? Like, you're gonna have to actually, no kidding, go after and kill all these, where 5, 4, 3, and then 6. Like, I've got to actually go in and kill all these things, and there's no AoE on these attacks whatsoever, so it's annoying. 1 and 2. Let's get some heals up. He's tanking very well though. 5, 4, 3. He is tanking very well, so I'm pretty impressed by that for him. Will he be everybody's cup of tea in here? Probably not. Like, you're gonna want stronger finishes than these. And granted, I only have a CTP or an obelisk on him as a reminder, but if I'm being honest, the way he's tanking a lot of this with his heal, this is pretty nice. 4, 3, 6. Man, I feel like in a better player's hand, he can definitely complete this. The problem that I have is it doesn't seem like the tier 3 really is adding a whole lot onto this. 5, 4, 3. Here we go, and we're into phase 2. So about 2.5 minutes to go into phase 2. I don't think that's necessarily a bad for a tier 3 at level 70, especially against Gore. And I feel like you can do better. Again, remember, I play at stage 2 and I push occasionally. You don't really need to go outside of tier 2. That's the simple God's honest truth. Going outside of tier 2, the rewards are the same, and you're only looking to get the rewards that happen every so many other levels at that point. So is this a bad, like, to be honest with you, pretty impressed. Omega Red's not bad, and I can tell you for a fact that when I played as Black Panther at level 70 tier 3, he wasn't as impressive to me as Omega Red was, mostly because of his ability not to tank. But you can go back and watch my videos there Sure, he was able to do those no problem and stuff like that. So you know what, for your average player who is just looking, they don't have the resources necessarily to go to tier 4, it's not a bad tier 3. The problem is right now is that, are you going to choose that character over a character that has potential to go all the way to tier 4 and that you know you're going to be able to use regardless? So like, I have to compare him to combat class Namor to say, like, if you don't have Namor, specifically because they're both paywalled characters, you can get Omega Red for free lastly today inside the event shop. The 5 BIOS is all you need, and then you can level him up with other things. But if you have Namor and you've already got him T4, then this might not be a bad choice in terms of having a T3 that is a combat mutant class character. His value is only going to increase because, as I said, you can see with the build that I have for him, I didn't really build him up in terms of like, I didn't rank up his type at all. I didn't rank up his ESO 8. He was on stage 8. He didn't have any artifact in there at all, and he basically had a crit rate, increased basic damage, 120% attack. That's it. So like, if you looked at his details inside of here, this is mostly affected by my cards. So the good thing about that is that with this is basically showing you that even without a uniform, you can max out stats on him. So overall, I would say like, he's a good goddamn character. I'll probably end up using him more for like Shadowland clears and than anything else. But that's a pretty impressive mutant leadership in terms of Omega Red. Not too bad at all. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time, peace.